Then the two national anthems have been played. Germany against Brazil. It is our first match on day 4 at the Kings World Cup Nations. Two teams that were victorious in day 2 in their openers. And Thomas, just to recap the messages we heard there were essentially 4 of them. First of all, we heard from Mo Leitner, who introduced Mario Götze. He spoke all about how the German footballing machine would be strutting their samba stuff, actually appropriating the national Brazilian dance for the Germans themselves. And then Mario Götze, who gave a much more institutional style message, talking about how Brazil are one of the best teams in the world. And clearly it's that sort of humility that allowed Götze in that victorious 2014 World Cup winning campaign for Germany in Brazil, when he scored the only goal in the final after they had won by 7-1 against Brazil in the semis.
Yeah, a couple of embarrassing, doesn't really paint the full picture for Brazil. That 7-1 loss, humiliating. Also, then in 1950 they lost the World Cup again on home soil. That occasion to Uruguay, a team they expected to beat. But that's the past. This is the present, and the present right now is the draw of the Spotify secret cards, which really can make the difference and turn the game in your favour. It'll give you a bit of momentum, as we've seen over the previous days. Quite right, a bit of sportsmanship there from Jim, allowing Brazil to take that first draw of the secret card. A reminder, and it's always good to have a bit of a reminder and a recap and a refresh, Patrick. These can only be played in the second half, and of course only those coaches know what that card is. Germany swim earlier. It's hard not to pick out Mo Leitner as the star man, the number 10, but Noah Jones as well really had a good game earlier this week in Germany's very impressive victory from them. So, and there he is, talk of the devil, talk of the German number 19. As for Brazil, well, I know again I'm repetitive, but Kelvin Oliveira, really impressed by his performance the other day, netting twice for the Verde Oro, and they are the Verde Oro players just ahead of kickoff. Should one of these sides lose, it wouldn't be game over. They'll go through to a last chance, but they want to go through and join Argentina and USA straight into the final 8.
They do. The 10-second countdown is on, and I am conscious of the fact we haven't yet been able to relay the message that Kaká gave to the Brazilian players ahead of this massive match. A crunch game to start day 4 here at Vismara, the south side of Milan. Kings World Cup Nations, Italy 2025. The road to Torino continues here.
And we're underway then, and we'll get a message soon from Ricky Kaká. Ricky Kaká, one of the many curious spectators then for this big one. Germany against Brazil. Two powerhouses, Patrick, of world football, and two big nations in the Kings League. Two massive nations in football, all told, especially in the Kings League. And it's always fraught with danger to try and take your eyes too much off the action here out there on the pitch, and that's exactly what Kaká actually said. Just coming to that, he said not to lose focus, and Brazil looking to make a fast start. That would have been goal-bound had he not leant back slightly, just hit over the top in the end from that man you picked out, Kelvin Oliveira, wearing 9 and indeed the captain's armband. Yeah, he just went the beyond Jones there and put himself into that shooting position. Final 10 seconds then before the end of the first minute, when another player can join. Here he is. What a lovely finish that is. Dinked over the goalkeeper. Germany on the board first. And that is a fabulous finish indeed from that man you mentioned, Noah Jones. Look at this, beyond Kevin Oliver and then beyond the keeper, the on-rushing keeper. Such a cool finish. Wunderbar from Deutschland here. And the Verde Oro find themselves trailing, but can they hit back right away? We now have a 3v3, including keepers. We do indeed. Now Kelvin Oliveira's gone down. He wanted a penalty, got very quickly to his feet because there's an assistant right by him there who saw nothing wrong with the challenge. In fact, it was the man in the middle who had just momentarily taken a place away to the left side of the pitch. Noah Jones showing he's equally adept at both scoring goals and indeed winning the ball back. 2v1 situation now for Brazil. An open shot on goal, and it strikes the foot of the post. How close he came there. It was Nick Salihamidzic, which is a famous name in the world of football. Correct, yeah, his father, former Juventus man, amongst others, as more players join the pitch. Can Brazil get back into it, Patrick? They've got space to shoot, and they can. There's the equaliser. He just opened up the angle, Andreas Vaz, and that makes it Germany 1, Brazil 1. And it is pulsating stuff. What do you expect from the Kings League? End-to-end action. Two teams that want to go for the big prize, the final in Turin. What a start. Not even 3 minutes gone, already a goal apiece.
A goal apiece indeed, and very little that Fabio Rasic there, the German goalkeeper, could do about that. In fact, it's Abdoulaye Gueye who's currently on the pitch in German colours. A reminder, you can rotate players on and off, but at this stage it is still 3 outfield players against 3 plus goalkeepers. And here is Abdoulaye Gueye. He's going to need to shoot sooner or later. Brazil keeping the Germans quiet, and Brazil celebrate that defensive challenge. Germany will resume with a throw. But just going back to what Kaká said, he said that Brazil really is the home of football, and he spoke about what an impressive debut match it had been for the Seleção in this competition. He was, of course, referring to Brazil's 7-4 win over the Korea Republic to open up day 2. And he said his experience in big international matches in major competitions like the World Cup, as Brazil have got space to shoot here. The angle's against him. It needed a save from Gueye. But Kaká saying that his experience has led him to believe that it's all about focus and concentration. It could come down to fine margins, as we see here. And that was the finest of margins, as Kelvin Oliveira shot it just wide.
Oh, fine margins indeed. Just the wrong side of the post from Kelvin Oliveira, who's warming up, though, Patrick. He's warming up. It's another sign to Germany. He means business.
He does indeed, and we are about to see another German player and a Brazilian enter into the fray. And I do love that number that he's got on the back of his shirt there. Nick Salihamidzic, not only wearing 7, but also his stage name, if you will, is Nick Diego. So perhaps that's a reference to Diego Maradona, which is something that might just get under the skin of the Brazilians. An Argentine icon, the old enemy for the Brazilians.
Oh, yeah.
But yet see them meet later on in the competition.
That would be tasty.
Through to the quarters.
That would be tasty indeed, that all South American duel. And here come the South Americans.
Indeed, with Lipao, and there's a chance. What a wonderful sliding challenge. I tell you what, you can skin your knees on this surface. Not that he was necessarily worried about that. Paul Herbert with the challenge.
You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. Danger not over for Germany. Brazil, after that slow start, passing around nicely and creating chances.
They are indeed. And again, Gueye making the save. Germany need to be careful. They've lost possession here, right at the edge of their own box.
What a fast-paced start, though, to this match. Of course, it shouldn't come as a surprise, seeing the quality we have there out on the pitch. And, of course, the Kings League form, which is designed those first 5 minutes to make it so exciting. It is so frantic in those first 5 minutes. It is now, though, 7v7.
It is. We are up to the full complement. That was a lovely back heel. And now Brazil trying to bend it in from distance there, but Lipao's shot was easily repelled. So we had 2 very early goals to strike from Noah Jones to make it 1-0 to the Germans. Brazil, courtesy of Andreas Vaz, then equalising. But since then, no goals. That might change now, though, because Noah Jones is in behind here, trying to open up the angle. It's off the line. Nicely dealt with there by Wembley.
Oh, I love that on the back of the jersey. Wembley indeed. Fabulous defending there, but great work from Jones to put himself into that shooting position. He, as you said, both ends of the pitch, really important player for Germany.
It reminds me, you and I grew up in England, it reminds me of a chant that we have, Que sera, sera, whatever will be.
As well. I like it, Kings League.
We're going to Wembley. Well, they wouldn't be going to Wembley on this occasion. They'd be heading to Allianz Stadium in Turin. You can still get your tickets at kingsleague.pro for that, because it's not just the final of the Kings World Cup Nations that you can watch on that particular occasion in the state-of-the-art facility in northern Italy. You can also see the Legends game featuring Pirlo, Buffon, Casillas, and someone else I'm forgetting as
Mahmoud.
well.
Don't forget Mahmoud, he'll be performing.
Kun Agüero.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Mahmoud.
Mahmoud will be providing some musical accompaniment to all of that.
It's dulcet tones.
Indeed. So, what did Germany do now? 1 apiece, as we expected. This was going to be un joguin, as Kaká described it, which is an augmentative, Thomas. It means a big game, quite literally. Un partitone, as they'd say in this part of the world.
Again, I'm blessed to be beside a fabulous linguist, and I think there's 4 or 5 languages you speak fluently, Patrick. I had Simon Harding super side by side. Another one, like yourself, is a polyglot.
Oh, that's a mistake. Kelvin Oliveira nearly punished the Germans, and what a double save that is in the end from Abdoulaye Gueye because he realised his initial tip was not going over the top. He had to then go back and claw it away.
Well, we mentioned the keepers earlier in our pre-match show, Patrick, and we're seeing why they are so important, why we are so richly blessed when it comes to keeping talent.
Thomas, this is your 4th day straight of Kings League. I'm in for day 2 running. As Brazil want to win a penalty, I think the challenge came outside the box. The Germans were saying that that was a dive. The officials also potentially saw in a simulation. There's no card there for that particular offence, but nor did they blow for a foul. And Brazil are incredulous. They're signalling for the VAR. They think, remember, on the line is in, that would have been a penalty.
Get a replay. Well, the assistant was well placed, the referee was well placed, but it might be checked. I'm not sure. Let's try and listen in.
Vale.
No.
We resume then, and Thomas, just coming back to the rules, we've seen that staggered start, 1v1 plus goalkeepers to begin, and then after the first minute becomes 2v2.
And so on, yeah.
Minute up until the 5th minute mark, then we have 7v7. But what's the next milestone that viewers that are new to this, or even those that are familiar with it but just want a refresher of the rules, what's the next milestone to look out for?
Yeah, as we then approach the 18-minute mark, you see Leitner go down, Patrick.
Nothing doing there, and I don't think he necessarily expected to get a decision either, but as I say that, he's now going across the assistant and pleading. That, to me, is never a foul.
It's clumsy, it is clumsy, there was contact, but clearly no penalties. We're playing back on, and
you were just about to talk us through the 18-minute mark.
Yeah, when we get to the 18-minute mark, there's a break in play, there's the roll of the dice, and whatever number comes up on that dice is the number of players that then play the final 2 minutes. So it could be a 1v1 as we try and just listen again.
Dani, ahí delante tuyo, vale.
For me to shut up.
Te escucho, Edgar. Te escucho, Edgar. Wait a second.
Wait a second, says the official. And we do resume. So that's the right way. We've had some excellent officiating so far at Kings League, the World Cup of Nations so far. They've let the game go, let it breathe, and we haven't really had too much chance to catch our breath here.
Absolutely, I haven't even a chance to rattle off the rules yet, Patrick, but as we go on, as it happens, I will explain things further as our sort of resident expert being here, as you said, for the 4th day running, but it doesn't feel like that, it just flies by. It's so much fun as Leitner thought he was going to go for a quick throw there.
We saw something quite interesting there that those who are new to Kings League might not necessarily be familiar with. The ball actually ricocheted off the roof here, and we played on because it bounced back in play. There was no suggestion that we'd necessarily stop and start again. So that might be a tactic later on. If you can, wouldn't it be great if we saw someone pinging one off the roof and then it bounced in? I think it's unlikely, but you never know. But unsurprisingly, this is very close. So at the 18-minute mark, that is when we will roll the dice and see how many players will be on the pitch for the final 120 seconds plus added time. 2 halves of 20 minutes here in the Kings League. But there is scope for a presidential penalty which can be played at any time during the first half, apart from the last 2 minutes. And the same goes for the last 2 minutes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Whereas those secret cards, which you saw that were picked out ahead of kickoff, they can only be used in the second half in that 20 and 38-minute mark, Patrick, and that's where the strategy side of this game comes in. Okay, it's not just about the spectator, also strategy, because if you know what card you've got, it can then sort of condition, influence when you play that card.
Some good marking here from the Brazilians. That's why Gueye is waiting for someone to press him. He eventually pings it forward direct. Wembley doing the defending, ably supported there by Rufino.
Can Brazil just carry it out and pass it out from the back? That's a great challenge, brilliant challenge.
And Germany has some momentum now. If they can pick the pass, they can't, but it does break the way of a Germany player. Positive goalkeeping, he needs to win the ball as well. He's now off his line, and that's why it was all hands on deck from the Brazilians, and we heard a collective cry of, "Sí, yes."
I think even I got that one, thankfully, despite not being the best when it comes to languages like yourself, Patrick. But no, really good. It's good to hear and good to see some Brazil supporters inside. I think it was mainly from the bench, though, the Brazil bench, and their coach, who's playing as if he's playing, he's on there, he's up and down, he's an animated figure, let's put it that way. Germany as well, it shows that there's this competitive edge to this competition as well. Of course, they all want to become the first ever winners of this inaugural Kings World Cup Nations. The final, though, in Trim, where we won't have a roof, that will be played outdoors, obviously, being at a stadium, one of several impressive stadiums and arenas that have hosted this wonderful brand of football.
Lovely flick, it's into his stride. Can he get the finish away? Still going there. Eventually, the white shirts just crowded it out, but nice work there from Wellington. After what was a lovely piece of skill to tee him up in the first place, but Germany now powering forward themselves and winning a corner.
No, great work. It really is even Stevens after those first 5 minutes where it already happened. Now a bit of a tactical phase of the match. Two teams sizing each other. Don't want to take too many risks, give too much away as we see a great bit of play. And now it's an opportunity for Germany.
It is all about the delivery here. Set pieces can be a route to goal, just like in 11-a-side football. But Brazil have shown they're pretty strong in the air. Germany will have the opportunity, though, here with Daniel Muteba. He tried to place that there, his colleague, but it was easily blocked out, shall we say. Dennis Hoscher with the shot, and that particular effort goes over the top from Salihamidzic Jr.
Onik Diego, as he goes by with the number 7. I'm liking that, full of confidence if it is a nod or a tribute to Diego Maradona, the late Diego Maradona. Just assessing his options now. So low ball in again to Kevin Oliver, the big target man.
Holding it up well. Again, he felt he was fouled, and he just bumped into his opponent off the ball after that. A reminder, there is some needle here. It will be, yes, competitive. And ultimately, we've seen a lot of fair play, but we haven't been without red cards and some controversial disciplinary decisions too.
Yeah, we saw Spain.
But there's a bit of lack of quality out there as well at times. You know, the stakes are so high, and we heard Kaká mention it earlier on, that you need to try and be lucid, keep your cool and retain that focus. And just occasionally the players have been a little hasty in their decision-making.
Yeah, but I don't want to say the pressure at this stage, because there's still a long, long way to go. But at the same time, you don't really want to give too much away. You want to keep it tight. You don't want to put yourselves in a difficult position. Very much like Italy, yes, when they found themselves training at one stage 5-0, and they had it really all to do against Spain. So I think we're in this phase now where it's going to be quite almost like a chess match. I think the Italians use that expression from time to time. It's like a partita di scacchi, and a sort of tit for tat, one move after another, just keeping it tight as we go towards the 18-minute mark and the roll of the dice, which could be a big turning point. Oh, someone's called a president penalty.
Well,
talking of turning
before we
points.
get there, let me teach you a bit of Portuguese. But Portugal are teaching Germany a footballing lesson, or Brazil rather, a chess, xadrez.
Can you repeat
after
that?
me, xadrez.
Xadrez. Was that with an Italian accent again, was it, or was it English this time?
Somewhere in between, call it a halfway house, but another fabulous save from Gay there. And here's an opportunity for Muteba, just took it a little touch too far, but we got the presidential penalty on the way. A reminder, that won't be taken until the ball goes out of play. It would go out of play if Brazil were to go up this end and score here. They've got an overload with Andreas Vaz, and now it does go into touch. Which president is it going to be?
There we go. So, Brazil, we saw Gaules take the penalty the other day, but I believe...
Chris Guedes.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Guedes is going to be taking it for Brazil. We know Gaules has really become a cult figure in the Kings League, but it's not him after scoring his penalty the other day for Brazil against South Korea. So there he is, Mr. Chris Guedes. Guedes, I beg your pardon. Again, I did tell you I wasn't going to be very good with my Portuguese.
Don't worry.
There is time. I've already forgotten the word for chess. But anyway...
Xadrez. He's no relation, incidentally, to the former Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain player Gonçalo Guedes. That's with a Portuguese pronunciation, Guedes. This is Chris Guedes, as they would say in Brazil, but Gaules watching on.
Great
and a big opportunity. Now, no sportsmanship there, the fist bump with Abdoulaye Gueye, who so far
is it mind games?
Been,
look,
stand out. Well, until he's told to retreat by the referee, he can do exactly that.
Fair
but
point.
He would back the stand-in then. Penalty taken, not Gaules. big target, the goal, but the goalkeeper is a huge presence as well. It is going to be Chris Guedes to score, converted, and that makes it Brazil 2, Germany 1, and having trailed 1-0 early on, the Brazilians have turned it around. Gaules is crowing.
They have come from behind, Brazil, after that slow start, sluggish start by their very high stands, but great penalty. Struck it so well, sending the keeper the wrong way. The celebrations are still going on for Brazil. But now they have to get their game heads back on again.
They do indeed, but so too to the Germans, because that presidential penalty came in a break in play when Brazil actually had an attacking throw-in. They're going to look to make it 2 quick goals here. And that shot is blocked. It was goal-bound, but that's something fairly unique about this, because it's just a separate passage of play. So it's not like you necessarily have a penalty and then you score and you go back to the centre circle. No, we resume where the ball initially went off the pitch itself. Now, a corner for Brazil, looking to turn the screw, because they do have not only the lead here, but also the momentum as well, the Seleção. Nicely worked here, but Germany doing fabulous work again to get the blocks in. That's what it's all about. It reminds me a little bit of watching Giampiero Gasparini's Atalanta. This is 1v1 all over the pitch, and the pitch is much smaller than your traditional 11-a-side game, but the goals certainly aren't.
Don't let Gasparini catch you hearing, catch you say that. He says we're much more than just one-on-1v marking.
Germany haven't seen too much of the ball. They need to try and get that man Noah Jones into goal-scoring positions. We saw him take his chance right at the top of this match, but since then he's been kept quiet. The Mannschaft as well have been relatively quiet themselves as Brazil prepare to make another rolling substitution. But a reminder, if you are new to Kings League, you might just be witnessing another goal there, because the attempt came in from Choco, alias João Victor.
Yeah, very nearly a third for Brazil. Brazil being tipped by Leonardo Bonucci himself to go all the way and win it. Bonucci no longer in the competition, going out with Italy yesterday after that thrilling game against Spain. And that's awarded in favour of Brazil. As I said, Bonucci tipped them to go all the way and win the competition in Turin on the 12th of January. Germany, though, you certainly can't write them off. It's still very early days as we go into the final 30 seconds, and then there'll be the gong on the 18-minute mark. So my advice always is have a shot now, have a shot. Why not?
And they might do just that, following your advice, your pearls of wisdom. But Germany may be in transition. Instead, they've lost the ball. And it's straight at the goalkeeper. They did get the shot away, but we saw that previous challenge. The reason why the whistle went was because it wasn't actually a foul on the German player who went down too easily. He then dived on the ball, and the officials gave the free kick because of handball by the player in white. We are now just seconds away from the final 2 minutes of the first half. Germany going route one, Wembley dealing with it. Do Brazil have time? He's spun in behind here, but again, attentive defending there from the man at the back, Vendim Sinani. And here comes the roll of the dice.
And Patrick, it is from a very famous face indeed, Mr. Park Ji-sung, former Manchester United man, amongst others. I've been told he also speaks incredible Spanish. The Red Bull roll of the dice is energy break, energized by Red Bull, and it's a number 4, so it means 4 versus 4.
4v4 then, is that with or without goalkeepers? You know
with,
my usual question.
With goalkeepers, you know it by now, Patrick. I know you do. I think you're just doing it. You're too humble. You're too humble, Mr. Patrick Kendrick. It is with goalkeepers, of course, for this final 2 minutes of play. Countdown begins before those lights come on, very much Formula 1 style. Can we do a bit of Murray
Walker,
maybe?
We're not too far from Monza either. Monza up on the north side of the city. We're on the south side of the northern Italian metropole here, Milan, Mediolanum, to give it its Roman name. It's a very ancient settlement, this, and deep roots as well when it comes to football in this part of the world. We're at Vismara, which has also played host to a number of quality talents down the years in the AC Milan Academy, but Brazil on the offensive here as well. They might, because it's 4v4, or rather 4v4, but as you said, with goalkeepers, so that means it's 4v4, 3v3 outfielders.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't clarify that, but 4 on the pitch, but 3 outfielders, and Very nearly a second goal and a fourth goal of the match. Again, that man wearing the number 7 has caused a few issues. But I'm surprised that Kelvin Oliveira hasn't left his mark, but he has been heavily involved, and all the good things that Brazil have done, he's been involved.
Again, the Brazilians showing their flair and trickery. It's something that's so synonymous with the team in green and gold, but they're playing with the yellow shirts and blue shorts this evening. It's always
and the yellow socks as well. I like the white ones.
Absolutely. Oh, lovely work from Kelvin Oliveira, and it was very nearly another goal for him in this competition. Yet to get his name on the score sheet so far. A reminder, Andreas Vass with the equaliser. Chris Geddes, who converted the penalty after Noah Jones had given Germany a relatively early lead here, but it is cagey. And so far, they're just checking as to whether there was a handball in there. There wasn't, but so far, none of the specific rules unique to Kings League have necessarily kicked in. We are seeing one now with the 4v4 for the final 2 minutes. But beyond that presidential penalty, and here go Germany. He's in the clear if he's got the pace, could square it. Instead he goes himself and he lifts it beyond the goalkeeper. What a chance that was. Instead it's gone begging from Nedzad Plavci.
I'm so surprised there, Patrick. Normally he puts those away for fun. Came steaming forward here. Maybe the keeper did just enough to make it awkward for him. I'm not sure. We're in just 1 minute of added time.
So, if Brazil could score here, they could go in with a 2-goal cushion at the break. Lipao looking to work his way past the German defenders. Still got Kelvin Oliveira on the pitch as well. Instead, it's on the far side. Kelvin wants the ball, but his teammate only has eyes for goal. Simple save for Gay there after Leonardo went directly towards goal. Now it's a 1v1 situation. Lipao doing the defending. Germany looking to score. Lipao stayed on his feet, kept his eye on the ball, and following Kaká's advice to the letter.
Oh, that was a fabulous change. Had to get that spot on as well in the penalty area. Couldn't get it wrong. Well,
yes, Abdoulaye Gay. He tries his luck. Certainly put his boot through it. Well worth a go from there, especially was conscious at the time. We've now just got 7 seconds of added time remaining. Brazil will take their time and they will enjoy a 2-1 half-time lead, unless Lipao, they will just finish this last attack. Lipao! There's Gay. Still Leonardo picking up the pieces. He's unhappy. The Brazilian bench are not pleased. They weren't allowed to take another shot there. The coach trying to calm them down. But for Abdoulaye Gay, Germany could well have been out of sight here because Brazil nearly led it 3-1.
Oh, full marks to the keeper there. Full marks indeed. At one end, very nearly bringing his national team level. At the other, keeping another goal out. As we go towards break, and we'll just pause a minute and try and listen in to what the coaches are saying.
Zuhören! Klipp und klar, wir liegen 2-2, aber wir haben immer noch Präsidentenelfmeter und unsere Karte. Wann setzen wir unsere Karte? Doppelt. Wir warten jetzt. Wir arbeiten jetzt nochmal, okay? In dem Block. Wir kotzen uns aus, okay? Wir kotzen uns aus. Und dann kommen die rein und dann holen wir unsere Karte, okay? Am besten, wir machen erst noch den Präsidentenelfmeter.
Den würde ich vorher machen.
Aber da ich spiele jetzt, dann komm kurz runter und dann. Okay? Also die 6 rauf. Die 6 drauf und Männer, wir fressen jetzt auf. Pressen, 1 gegen 1. Männer, wir machen es fantastisch. Wir sind da, wie Acker. Vorne einfach noch klarer, okay?
Und kontern, Jungs. Wenn wir einen Ball haben, nicht.
Schnell.
Wenn wir einen Ball klar kontern, das dauert. Schnell. Weil da sind sie anfällig. Wenn wir kontern, sind sie anfällig, Jungs. Vamos.
Ji-Sung Park there watching on of the Korea Republic, an absolute legend, the former Manchester United player. And we will see Korea in action in our next match.
A bola fica muito longe. Não sair só com o Emblem e com o El, sair com os nossos caras rápidos.
Estão vendo? Baratinho.
Lembra uma coisa? Vai lá, galera. Vai lá, rapidinho. O goleiro não tem tempo com a bola, Barata. Lembra disso, espera.
Fui de 7, não tem tempo. Vambora. Wembley, Well, Andrés, Jetinho, Lipão e Show.
So we heard there from the Portuguese bench and indeed their German counterparts. It's the Germans who are narrowly behind after 20 minutes, but even if this is your first match in Kings League, you don't need to necessarily have too much prior viewing experience to know that a 1-goal lead at the break is a very slender advantage indeed. That's why the Germans will feel they can go on and win this game in the second half. But Brazil have a platform to do exactly that. Germany going route 1. But so far, Wembley has been enjoying himself back there. That was Lipao doing the defending. Wembley wears 3. Lipao has the frosted tips, the bleached blonde hair.
No, we have seen some cracking hairstyles. It reminds me a little bit of 1990s Eminem, or maybe Cisco, perhaps.
Absolutely. Was that the thong song?
That was
Cisco?
it. I don't know why
We'll
I
give you
remember
a
that
rendition
one.
of that.
I don't know why I remember that one. But anyway, let's. I digress. As always, let's see if Brazil can.
Now getting forward. Here's a big opportunity. And he tried to side-foot it into the corner. It was the right decision in terms of technique. For once, Gay was static. He wasn't getting there. But Shoku missing out.
Yeah, a glorious opportunity, as we can see it again. Just the wrong side of the post for Brazil. We can hear plenty of noise here inside the Vismao. Are they Vuvuzelas? I can't remember how you pronounce it, but they were very famous at the World Cup in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
That's slightly different. I think these are klaxons. We had the
Klaxons.
vuvuzela in South Africa, which was more of a horn, which had that low humming sound in the background. The shoku, which is making me hungry, even though I had lunch only a couple of hours ago, because in Portugal they have a very unique dish, which is characteristic from the Setúbal area, where Jose Mourinho hails from. Choques fritos, which is fried cuttlefish. It's basically Portuguese version of fish and chips. I know you like to get up to speed on the culinary.
I love the culinary delights
in this particular competition, but yeah, feijoada is another big dish as well in Brazil too. So
none of these
made with
players are
beans.
eating anything like that.
Here go Germany, meantime, pursuing an equaliser. They're asking for a foul on the edge of the box there. Nothing doing. Again, the referee's letting plenty go. But Brazil moving the ball crisply. My hunch is that this game could well be decided, yes, by the presidential penalties, and we've seen Chris Guedes convert his already, but also maybe when it comes down to one of those secret cards, maybe a goal is worth 2, or we have the green armband with a specific player's strikes worth 2 goals as well, or maybe there might be a sin bid. 2 minutes for a yellow card, 5 for a red, with that same player playing no further part in this game and then suspended for the next one. And of course, Thomas, the final 2 minutes of the game, when goals are worth double if there is an uneven scoreline, if one team is in the lead, if the two teams were level, what happens?
It would go back to a golden goal, which we saw between Uzbekistan and Saudi Arabia earlier this week. And you mentioned shootouts, Patrick. Germany don't have their present here, so they would not have a penalty as such, but a penalty shootout, which basically means very much like a ice hockey style, where you start at the centre of the pitch and then run towards the goal, and you only have, though, a 5-second time to put it in the back of the net.
That was quite an amusing scenario there, because Wellington has played it straight out of play on the touchline because his captain, Kelvin Oliveira, who's waiting to come back on, is not wearing a bib, he's holding a bib, because that's what you do to make for these very quick rotations, the roll-on, roll-off substitutions. So Wellington thought it was a teammate playing on the left wing. In fact, he was off the pitch. And it reminds me of poor old Renato Sanchez, the former Roma midfielder, amongst others, Paris Saint-Germain, Benfica, who famously, when playing for Swansea City, passed the ball into an advertising hoarding because he thought it was a teammate in the corner of his eye.
Here come Brazil! And they come indeed! And they get that 2-goal cushion to make it Brazil 3, Germany 1. A stunning strike from distance, Patrick.
It was the Shoku who has shocked Germany here, drilling it into the corner. He went close a few moments ago. On that occasion, he side-footed it wide. This time he put his laces through it and he thumped it into the corner. It would take something special to beat Gay. We've just witnessed it there from Shoku. Brazil 3-1 to the good.
Oh, we've seen some cracking goals over the past few days, and it's only the first match. It's setting the tone. It's setting what is to come for the rest of this 4th day of the Kings World Cup Nations. What a goal. It's going to be hard to better.
It will be, specifically on this 4th day. On day 3, I'd arguably say we had a better strike when we had that golazo into the top corner.
The Argentina
in the
game.
Argentina match, the second goal in particular. Albeit I enjoyed the first as well. Lovely driven ball and a well-timed run to head it in. But Germany has so far been outplayed by the Brazilians, and that is not technically a shot on target, because had it not been for the German goalkeeper, who's been absolutely superb, he's been one of the best we've seen so far in the tournament for my money, then Brazil could not only be 3-1 up, they might even be 4 or 5-1 to the good. He made some really excellent reflex saves in the first half, Abdoulaye Gay.
He almost put his name on the score sheet as well, showing out the rush keeper is important too.
And Gay might have some more work to do here. It's a clever cross towards Kelvin. Just slightly overhit, though. The right idea, certainly, from Wellington.
Now, Patrick, You know, I'm a stats man, and Kelvin Oliveira's always scored when he's played in a Kings League game. Always scored. So I'm expecting him, there's still time on the clock, I'm expecting him to score. He won't let us down.
That is, that's quite ominous for the Germans, because then you know that you have to factor in almost another goal that you need to make up if Kelvin is indeed to keep up his excellent record in terms of scoring goals. Secret card on the way, Tolu.
And it's from Germany. A long throw, and it comes to nothing. You have to get back and defend here. Here is Kelvin Oliveira.
Kelvin Oliveira going himself. It's off the underside of the crossbar. It definitely didn't cross the line. We're almost in a perfect position to ascertain that. It caught the woodwork. He thought it had crossed the line. Gay and Germany get a big reprieve, and that was nearly you teeing him up to perfection. Does he score? He always scores.
Oh, I very nearly got an assist, Patrick. Very nearly set up a goal of sorts from the commentary gantry.
Now, can Germany get a goal here? They can't. It's a fair challenge. The German has taken a tumble, but Brazil are just marauding forward at will. Lipao taking the sting out of things.
And Brazil have responded with their own secret card as well.
This is Davi.
Come forward again.
In fact, it's probably Javi. So, David.
Sounds more impressive in Portuguese.
Another David.
From one David to another. So, break in play, Patrick. That secret card called by Germany a few moments ago. To be fair, we've had loads going on in between then. Let's see what it is.
Segredo.
Spotify secret card.
Okay. Secret card for Germany. Double goal.
So it means any goal scored now in the next 4 minutes would be worth
Brazil.
double. So should they score, it wouldn't be 3-2, but 3-3. And now, what about Brazil, Patrick? We'll find out shortly.
Okay,
oh, wow, they're playing the secret card together, and it is the Joker,
what do you choose?
which means they can pick whichever one they want.
Penalty for Brazil.
Clever, if you ask me, Thomas. They've gone for the penalty. Why? Because we've already seen Kelvin Oliveira wants his goal. He's going to get the opportunity now from 12 yards. But surely Germany, well, Germany pulled their secret card first, but they've got 4 minutes of that. So actually Brazil have basically gone for the chance here. And I wonder whether they would have gone with the penalty had it not been for Germany getting the double goal for the next 4 minutes, because Brazil can basically negate that now by taking a 3-goal cushion, provided Kelvin Oliveira does indeed convert here from the penalty spot. We fully expect him to. So, Gay has already been beaten by Chris Geddes, the president. Now it's the captain's turn. It is Kelvin Oliveira. How cool was that? The stutter run-up, the wagging finger, the Brazil #9, their captain leading from the front, and the Brazilians now lead by 4-1 in Milan.
Oh, I love it. I love the swagger, I love the confidence. Reminiscent of Super Mario Balotelli and not, I think, Neymar, if I'm not mistaken, because let's keep in theme with Brazil. May have taken a few penalties similar to that style down through the years, maybe Deco Mane, although he played for Portugal, not mistaken, and Ronaldinho, but still so impressive. And again, we start from this position where the play was stopped.
Indeed, much like the first half when Brazil played their presidential penalty card. Lest we forget, Germany still have their presidential penalty to come, and Thomas, you'll be able to clue us right into who's going to take that particular spot kick for the Germans.
Yeah, but the fact that their president isn't present here at the venue, so they can pick someone,
the shootout.
Yeah, from the Germany team. I don't know who that, maybe Nick Diego or maybe Jones.
To delegate to Noah Jones, yeah.
Yeah, I would, seeing the fact he's already put his name
Based on
the
factors.
squad, based on all the factors that we've seen today, vis-a-vis.
Oh, lovely touch from Kelvin. Is there a 5th goal? Very nearly. Lovely run through. Darting through there was Mateus Rufino, who goes by Rufino quite simply, but we've seen Kelvin scoring. Their return provider, almost.
Yeah, but I expect obviously Germany to just wait, of course, these next 3 minutes, see if they can get a goal back, which would be worth double, a reminder, and then I think they'll look to play that shootout almost ASAP.
Germany had the momentum. Oh, it's given away. Here's Kelvin. That was far too easy. And Gay, who has been almost flawless, made a mistake there in possession. 2 goals for Kelvin. He's got a brace. It's 5 all told for Brazil. And now Germany need to score twice in the next 2.5 minutes to basically make it 5 each. What a mistake that was from Abdoulaye Gueye. And you can see from his body language, Thomas, that is going to haunt him tonight.
Yeah, very much like the we saw yesterday from the Italian keeper Viviano. Those errors from the keepers can prove so costly. It's harsh on him. He's had a really good game so far, the Germany keeper, but it's not his moment. And who knows, maybe Brazil could go and win this 7-1 themselves after being on the receiving end of a 7-1.
That would be some poetic justice, wouldn't it? If you're going to exact revenge, why not do it by the very same scoreline by which you were humiliated just over a decade ago in the mother of all matches, that semi-final between Brazil and Germany. I still remember David Luiz, who in particular really suffered that day, and just how the Brazilian players were in tears. Well, they're going to be crying tears of joy here, but it is time for the presidential penalty. They have turned to the number 10 to take it as a shootout. A reminder, Mo Leitner, who we saw geeing up the troops in the lead up to this match, has to be a shootout because they've delegated. It's not the president. He has passed it on to a player. Mo Leitner really needs to score here, but he doesn't. The Brazilian keeper makes the save. The Brazilians are once again cheering here, and it looks like, thanks to Barata, Brazil are very close to the finish line now.
Yeah, Leitner, who was so impressive with the shootout against Peru in Germany's first match. Not so on that occasion. Of course, had he scored, it wouldn't have been worth double, of course. It still would have only counted as one, even though Germany still have that secret card in effect.
Lovely ball round the corner. Brazil wants another goal here. That's a fair challenge, a very risky one. But desperate times call for desperate measures there, and Paul Herbert had to put in the challenge. Here is Herbert again. Gueye, they're going to press him once more, and that was a more hurried clearance, but he has found Mo Leitner in particular. But you can be absolutely sure now that when the German goalkeeper has the ball between his feet, then they are going to be pressing him aggressively.
Reminder, the final played at the Allianz Stadium in Turin, and thanks to the support of the Regione Piemonte, di Comune di Torino, di Città Metropolitana di Torino, di Fondazione per la Cultura Torino, and Irene.
Indeed, our institutional partners. We've got the region of Piedmont, which Turin is capital of, plus the city council, the city itself, all of those institutional partners who have been able to support us in creating what we hope will be, and I'm sure it will be, a very special final act to this inaugural edition of the Kings World Cup Nations. Held in Italy, yes, the main portion of the tournament here in Milan, in Vismara, but the final deserved the best possible ground, and we certainly got that in Allianz Stadium in Turin, home of Juventus Football Club. But here comes Leitner dropping the shoulder, trying to slip it through, and all of a sudden there's an overload here for Brazil. 3v2, if they can work it, they can work it. They can't quite score. Did it come off the toe of the goalkeeper? I think a corner indeed has been awarded.
Appealing for it.
Davi nearly scoring there.
And they have been given a corner. Just a few more stats about Mr. Kelvin Oliveira. It's 3 from 3 when it comes to penalties in the Kings League. 1 with Porcinos. And 1 in the Nations Cup there, very nearly catching me out by surprise. I have to be careful not to think too much about Kelvin Oliveira, although I'd love to see him in a one-on-one with Obed Martinez. That would be some impressive standout shootout between those two. The Mexico top scorer and the Kings World Cup Nations top scorer, although Kelvin Oliveira is hot on his heels.
Foul by Maicon there, but Brazil are completely in charge of this. We knew it was going to be a good match. Herbert's ball through is given straight to a Brazilian player, and all of a sudden they've just got that extra energy. Again, they'll try and use the player on this near side, Leletti, but they couldn't quite get it through towards him. Leletti, alias Leonardo Leletti Garcia. But Germany need to score, and quickly. They have now seen that particular secret card period has elapsed, so there's no opportunity for them to score. Goals will be worth double, not until the final 2 minutes of the match. But to have any chance of getting something from this match, they need to try and reduce arrears here in what remains 4.5 minutes until we get to that juncture.
Yeah, it has to be schnell now from Germany. Fast.
That was a nice idea there. You can see exactly what he was trying. Schoku, who was the scorer of the Brazilian third goal. A reminder, all this after Germany took the lead. 5 goals without reply. Andreas Vaz, Chris Guedes, who took the presidential penalty. Then Schoku with the pick of the bunch so far. That drilled effort into the corner that my colleague Thomas Lawrence called so majestically. And finally the brace from Kelvin Oliveira, the first from the penalty spot after the secret card was played by the Seleção, the second after that costly mistake from Abdoulaye Gueye, who apart from that hadn't put a foot or a glove wrong.
Yeah, no, really cruel on the keeper, and we saw something similar in Uzbekistan against Saudi Arabia. Omar was having a cracking game for Saudi Arabia, a little slip which allowed Jabarov to come in as well, just stop and score that golden goal.
Okay, here. Vale, ahí, stop there.
And we're then back underway then, saying Jabarov getting that golden goal, and capital error by Omar. Saudi Arabia saw an error from the German keeper early, and it proved costly. And with that, Brazil, have they just taken the game away from Germany? Mo Lightning had that chance to give him a lifeline. He failed and he spurned from the shootout for Germany. So Brazil very much in pole position as we go towards that 38-minute mark when it all changes again.
It does indeed. Now, Germany with the set piece here. What can they do? Clever ball in towards the back stick. Barata came and claimed it. Barata, which means both cheap and I believe it's cockroach as well, so I'm not sure whether that's necessarily what he's going for. But they've scored, Germany! Well, big moment this, Thomas. Take your eyes off the action at your peril. What happened here?
Patrick, again, just blink and you miss it. Quick thinking from Germany, catching us all by surprise, and above all, and more importantly, catching out the Brazilians.
Indeed, and it was neatly put away by Pascal Sohm, who now gets Germany's second goal of this match. They still trail by 3. Pascal Sohm on target. Still a long way back for the Mannschaft. They are just going to check as to whether the goal will stand or not.
We had VAR, they check it. That's fine, we stop the time is stopped.
Complete.
Check complete.
The time is stopped, don't worry. The time is stopped. Dime. Chicos, un momento, silencio, por favor. Dime, check complete, goal, okay.
Check complete, the goal stands, and the Germans, quite understandably, were anxious that they would have the clock stopped so that they would have as much possible time to try and find a route back into this game, Thomas. If they can score again, it makes the final 2 minutes of play very interesting, because goals would be worth double, and they would trail 5-3, and all of a sudden, if they could score once, they'd set up a 5-5 scoreline, which would eventually lead to the prospect of penalties. And they're again on the front foot here. All of a sudden, Brazil, who had looked so self-assured, are suddenly making mistakes like that one from Schock, who was actually trying to head it towards Andreas Fass on the far side, who does now collect possession. Brazil looking to go up the other end and score to try and dash any residual German hopes. They do have a glimmer of hope now after that goal from Pascal Sohm. This is lovely football, though, from the Brazilians. Maicon, he can deliver, put behind for a corner.
I'm wearing the number 13, very much like Maicon in his buccaneering runs up and down the flank for the likes of Brazil and Inter down through the years.
And Roma, Manchester City.
Of course, had to get Roma in, of course, the Giallorossi.
Brazil start again quite wisely, just trying to keep possession as much as they can and not give the Germans any sort of encouragement. They certainly drew some courage from that finish from Sohm. It was a lovely near-post run just to tuck it into the corner. So swift indeed that we missed it from our commentary position here. We can't even blame the match director. We had a good view of it, and instead we're just daydreaming, switching off, Thomas.
And like I said, you just cannot take your eyes off the Kings League. Blink and you'll miss the action, and that's what pretty much we did there. But they also caught us by surprise with that quick thinking. So full marks, they're good from the Germans.
Here go the Germans again. They've got a chance, and it's a great save from Barata. And no wonder he's celebrating, because that was a potential big match-changing moment.
Oh, what a moment indeed. They still have a corner though.
And if they can take the set piece quickly, there might be a repeat. You can be sure that they'll be keeping tabs on Sohm this time. Won't want to lose the big number 9 as we go down to the final few seconds before the 38-minute mark. Is there to be a goal here for the Germans? No one got the shot away. The buzzer sounds. So we have a scenario whereby Brazil very much in the ascendancy, in the driver's seat here, because they lead by 5 goals to 2 with 2 minutes remaining. It does mean the goals are worth double, but it also means Germany will need to score twice without reply to win this by 6 goals to 5. If Brazil were to find the net, game over.
Mas depende do Lelete. Lelete, tá bem para correr nessa? Ou prefere não correr? Vamos então.
Well, that's a bit provocative there from the coach. He said, come on, lads, moleques, lads. Do you want to keep running, or would you rather not keep running? He seemed to be suggesting that the Brazilians have just stopped putting the effort in, and that could prove very costly. Germans have taken the full allotted time here. They have to all be back on the goal line by the time it's lights out, and we get ready for them to dash forward towards the ball. Who's going to get to it first? The Brazilians. False start, though, from the Seleção, so it will be Germany in possession. 2 minutes plus added time, I hasten to add, where the double goal rule still applies. Germany need to score twice, Thomas. They can't afford to concede, something they've done 5 times already.
Yep, exactly. But the fact they've got possession, they have time, just get an early goal. That'll give them a huge, huge boost, and it'll put the frighteners on Brazil. As you've said, I think yesterday, it's a confidence game, Patrick. It's a confidence game. Just a goal can just change everything, even when you're trailing by such a big margin.
Indeed. We will see how much the Brazilians are willing to run. They will know that if they win here, they don't have to play an extra match. They go straight through the quarterfinals. That's a huge incentive indeed to get the job done. Get the job done here against the Germans. They're well on course to do so, but Germany have shown fight, especially with that goal from Pascal Sohm. If they can score again, all of a sudden it's 5-4, and then the Brazilian nerves are jangling. Germany go direct. This is Kelvin Oliveira holding it up. Was he caught? Brazil wanted to play the advantage. The officials didn't intervene, and Germany trying to be a bit too cute. So to the Brazilians. You can see some fatigue out there on both sides because it's been intense. I challenge any of you to play 40 minutes out there on this very small pitch in these hot conditions. But here go Germany. What a run this is. But still no shot coming in. Indeed, eventually the goalkeeper makes the save. Now he's out of goal, and it's swept off the line. 2 big opportunities there for the Germans.
Huge, huge opportunities for Germany. They're going to try and take this quickly again. Time is very much of the essence. They cannot waste any precious seconds as they look to go again, Patrick, and get that goal and really set up a thrilling finale.
Can they do so? Instead, Brazil know that the best form of defence might be attack. They've got a 2v1 here. Kelvin! That's the Hattie! We saw a couple of trebles yesterday, and the man who always scores in the Kings League has not only delivered once, he's not just delivered twice. He'll take home the match ball. Kelvin Oliveira, game over.
And with that, he must now win the MVP, the Man of the Match prize. Is, of course, one of the candidates. You can vote via Twitch, and looks like he's going to thrash it, and he's going to win it as he celebrates right in front of us. And Patrick also celebrates in his perfect Portuguese, and it's been a perfect performance from Kelvin Oliveira.
They've barely put a foot wrong, and that means that, yes, Brazil have scored 7 goals, courtesy of 6 separate strikes, and all 3 of them, the last 3, have come courtesy of Kelvin Oliveira for his hat-trick, and it just shows that when we got down to money time, Thomas, that's when Kelvin decided to step up. He's come up clutch with that treble.
Oh, absolutely. That's why bigging him up, talking him up. He was so impressive against South Korea in action very shortly against Peru, who lost to Germany in their respective first matches. And Brazil, a real statement win this.
And you very nearly called it. You mentioned the 7-1 win for Germany
close, yeah,
at the 2014 World Cup in that semi-final, how Brazil wanted revenge. It would have been 7-1. Instead, the Germans have got a second goal. And despite them missing their presidential penalty, in fact, Brazil have been flawless. Kelvin scored a penalty courtesy of the secret card. Chris Guedes scored his penalty, which was the presidential one. And they've put together plenty of goals as well, including that most recent strike, which counted for double. We're into 4 added minutes, but it's a formality now that Brazil, the high-scoring Brazilians, 7-4 winners against Korea. They scored 7 again here against the Germans, and they're not done yet, Thomas Lawrence.
No, absolutely not, when you've got the likes of Kelvin Oliveira, who's still goal-hungry, and once more he's going after that top-scorer prize.
Mo Leitner, they don't want to be without him for their last chance match is just a yellow card, so a 2-minute sin bin, which means that Germany will end the match with 6 players to Brazil's 7. It's a yellow for the skipper. Disappointing for him, because he'd been particularly impressive for the Germans throughout their campaign. Doesn't mean it'll be a suspension. Had that been red, it could have been really costly, because Germany will face that match in the last chance saloon. We can now say, I think, who their opponents are going to be, can't we, Thomas?
Yeah, we'll be, and in the meantime, it's been confirmed that Kelvin Oliveira is the MVP. He is the man of the match.
And here he is again, trying to feed it through towards a colleague. Kelvin nearly won it back. Player wearing 8 looks like Tony Kroos. It's not Tony Kroos, unfortunately. Maybe one day, if PK can get on the phone. He has now retired, lest we forget, as well. So
we've seen some very famous faces feature in the Kings League, from the likes of Pirlo, Totti, Ronaldinho, to name just a few. Sergio Aguero could be in action for Argentina in the quarter-final stage, so keep a close eye on that. Certainly in the Legends game, that's for sure. So that's
confirmation. Kelvin, 86%. Is there another one? It needed a save from Gay. Kelvin absolutely bossing things, and we will, of course, bring you up to speed with what this means in terms of the implications in the bracket. We do know that Argentina through to the quarterfinals directly, the USA too, and indeed now it's going to be the turn of Brazil. There's only one final quarterfinal berths available. That last slot via a bye, we'll see that later on the game coming up. But here's a chance for Davy, and that absolutely seals it. It is going to be 8-2, so some 9-2 in fact. That counts double, lest we forget. So in fact they've got one better than the 7-1 loss in 2014. They lost by 6 on that day. They're going to win by 7 here, because Davy has signed off a comprehensive performance, and he celebrates just like Steph Curry.
He puts the game to bed indeed with the last passage of play. 9-2, whopping victory from Brazilian. A huge statement, and they have in part put that horrible nightmare from a decade ago behind them, and now it's Germany on the receiving end of a humiliating defeat. Kelvin Oliveira inspiring the Seleção, and he really wants the top scorer's prize. He doesn't want just to win this competition, he wants collective and individual honours. What a player he is, Mr. Kelvin Oliveira.
Absolutely. The Germans with a valiant attempt, but the Brazilians just far too strong, and it does show that perhaps we should expect plenty now from Korea in this second game, because Korea lost 7-4 to Brazil on day 2 in the opening match. Korea are now up against Peru, who themselves lost 4-2 to Germany. So Peru were fairly closely matched with Germany. Korea didn't lose by a great deal against the Brazilians, but Brazil now winning 9-2 against the Germans. It does make you think that maybe Korea are better than we might have given them credit for in that opening match. Plus, they're inspired by the legend that is former Manchester United player Park Ji-sung. So confirmation that the Germans, that's what we were getting to, will play Mexico in the last chance. We have our first game confirmed in the last chance. A reminder, Japan, Uzbekistan and Spain all await their fate. But a reminder, Brazil joining Argentina and the USA in the quarterfinals. As you can see, expected goals 4.38, but 4 of those goals were courtesy of 2, lest we forget. 2 goals coming in the final 4 minutes of play, 2 minutes plus 2 minutes of added play. And we are going to give you the best of the action very shortly as we see the Brazilians celebrate.